Welcome to Living Fully from the Sanctuary of Self, Rosicrucian Warder Library, Part 2 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The ancient mystical warder Rosicrucian, also known as the Rosicrucian Warder or AMORC, is a worldwide cultural, educational, and philosophical organization that is perpetuating the profound and practical teachings of the Rosicrucians. These teachings, as passed down and added to over the centuries, from ancient Egypt to Europe and now all over the world, pertain to the mysteries of the universe, nature, and humans themselves. The Rosicrucian Library is a source of spiritual wisdom and insight that includes the important writings by the respected imperators of the order such as Dr. Harvey Spencer Lewis, Ralph M. Lewis, and Christian Bernard. We will now continue with a selection from the chapter titled Living Fully from Frater Ralph M. Lewis's book, The Sanctuary of Self. In this part, the author emphasizes the laws of existence and the importance of maintaining one's balance through the exercise of all our human faculties. Living Fully. Henry Cornelius Agrippa also related that man has 3 equal points in his life. In other words, there are 3 periods within life, and these 3 periods he referred to as being primary initiations which we must pass through during our life period. The first begins after our physical birth, the first spring quarter of our life, from 1 to 21 years of age. The second period, or initiation, comes at 48 years of age, when we have crossed the meridian of life, or the zenith of our life's period, and the third period, or initiation, when we enter into the winter season of our life, the sunset, the closing quarter. He states that the upright body of the cross symbolizes these quarters of life. For example, the upper point of the cross symbolizes the spring season of life. The left arm of the cross represents the fall quarter, the right arm of the cross, the summer season, and the base of the cross, the winter season, or the close of life. Agrippa analyzes most interestingly the value of these seasons or quarters of life, and what man is expected to do in order to utilize them intelligently. By the time one has attained 21 years of age and has completed the spring season of his life, he should then have received the tools for his future. These tools may be the trade of profession in which he should be trained or prepared, or they may consist of the accumulated experiences of others which were expounded to him by preceptors in schools or universities. The summer season of his life, the middle period, is the time for activity, mental and physical. It is a time to produce, namely to create and manifest the ideals which should have been established during the spring season of life. If our products, our achievements during this summer season are not the best, it is probably due, says Agrippa, to our desultory living, to our neglect in preparing ourselves during the spring season of our life. Agrippa states that the winter season, or the sunset years, is the time when man calls a halt to his labors. It is the time to reap the benefits, if any, from what has preceded. He states that this is the time when man strikes a karmic balance. He does not mean that it is a time when we must compensate for what has occurred in previous incarnations, but rather that it is the time we should begin to enjoy the results of thoughtful planning or living, or when we should experience the results of careless living and wasted years. What do the Rosicrucians say of life? We say that life, physical existence, so far as mankind is concerned, is for a very definite purpose. We are permitted to experience it so that we may learn the laws of existence, our own and those of other things. This is accomplished through our combating the forces of nature which are around us. Only as we face opposition, Only as we place ourselves where we are exposed fully to the laws and phenomena of the universe are all of our faculties, all of our powers drawn upon. One who excludes himself from the world, who becomes an anchorite or a hermit, fails to utilize all of that of which he is capable and consequently learns little of the laws of existence. For analogy, we are given eyes to perceive that substance and matter visually, which might destroy us, crush us out of existence if we could not perceive it. In fact, all of our objective senses, seeing, feeling, tasting, and so forth, are given us because our existence is in those dimensions where we need these senses to cope with other substances, other masses such as ourselves. To live in accordance with those laws, those physical properties which have given us being, we must use the senses by which they can be discerned. However, we have also been given, besides our peripheral senses, an emotional nature. This has been conferred upon us for the purpose of evaluating the relationship of things to ourselves, so we may establish such notions as good and evil, order and disorder, etc. Each thing lives fully only to the extent that it expresses all of those functions of which it is capable. A deer that does not run, or a rooster that does not crow, is not living fully according to those functions which it has. It is not true to the cause of its existence. Likewise, a man who does not exercise his reason, or a man who does not employ his emotional and psychic faculties and powers, is not living as a human. He is neglecting that of which he is capable. In other words, he is opposing the very order of his existence. He can come to know only ennui by such living. The Rosicrucian conception of proper living is, first, to departmentalize one's being, and then to determine what are the principal elements or factors of which one is composed. This is not difficult. You recognize your physical and material being. You know that if you neglect your body, the physical side of yourself, you are closing a door on a part, an important part of the complexity of your nature. Again, you recognize that you have an intellectual part to yourself, that you have such faculties as reason, cogitation, and imagination. If you neglect them, then again another part of your being is deteriorating, atrophying from disuse. If you neglect any part of your being, it is like blindfolding one of your eyes. The function of your vision becomes limited. Therefore, your conscious existence may become distorted. Shining viewers, it was an honor to have your company for today's words of wisdom.